Hello, History of St. Louis, and for today we're going to take a look at the roads and bridges of the St. Louis area. One of the goals that any History of St. Louis teacher should have for their students is the ability to go out and visit the places that we talk about throughout the course of this class. And the only way to do that is to actually understand how to get to these places. So today's lesson is going to hopefully teach you a little bit about getting out of the Parkway West, Parkway School District bubble and get yourself out to the greater St. Louis area. So you should have the map that we are looking at right here. And what you're going to need to do is get 3 different colored writing utensils. It can be 3 different highlighters. It can be 2 highlighters and a pen. It could be a pencil, pen, and highlighter. As long as you have 3 different colored utensils, you'll be in good shape for what we are about to do. So let's take a look at the highways of the St. Louis area. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to identify the one thing on our map that is actually not a road. And so I am highlighting it right now, and you're going to need to do the same thing with one of your colors that you have. If you have a blue, this would be a perfect opportunity for you to use that blue. What I am highlighting right now is the Mississippi River. And so we want to make sure that we highlight that so that we don't think that that is a road on the map that we have in front of us. The other thing that we need to do is highlight right over here to the left another river in the St. Louis area, and this is the Missouri River. And so we need to make sure that we highlight this so that we don't think that it is one of the roads that we are discussing at this point as well. So those are the 2 major rivers in the area that highlight on the map and that we don't want to confuse with a road. So that's why we have colored those blue. It doesn't matter what you color it, but I want you to make sure that you have these colored in a certain way so that you don't think that these are roads. So the Mississippi and Missouri rivers are now out and identified so that we don't think they are anything but bodies of water. The next 2 roads that we're going to do are special kinds of roads that are called interbelts. So somewhere on your map, maybe on the back, I want you to write the word interbelt, I-N-T-E-R-B-E-L-T. An interbelt is a road that connects other highways and roads together. And so there are 3 in the major St. Louis area. We're going to highlight the big 2. So the first interbelt, and probably the most famous, starts up here to the north and basically wraps around the St. Louis area, and this is Highway 270. 270 is the major interbelt in the St. Louis area and basically connects all of the major highways together. So using your second different colored writing utensil, go ahead and bust that out and highlight Highway 270, which is basically a half circle around the St. Louis area. And as you can see, it connects most of the different highways together. The other interbelt starts right here above the B in Brentwood and then goes north and runs into a couple different highways before dead ending into Highway 270, and that is Highway 170. So Highway 170 and Highway 270 are the interbelts that I'm going to want you to highlight and identify. There is a third interbelt up here that branches off of 270 and goes into St. Charles, and that's 370. But because it branches off into St. Charles and it's such a small one and really doesn't do much connecting, we're just going to forget about it. And besides, it's St. Charles, so nobody cares about St. Charles. We just care about St. Louis. So there you go. The 2 major interbelts in the St. Louis area are 270, which is the half circle, and 170, which is that straight line that goes up. Now let's go ahead and review the three big highways of the St. Louis area. Let's do the one that most of my students at Parkway West know about, and that is Highway 40. And so if you start downtown in St. Louis and just follow it out right above the word Brentwood, and then we're going to cross over 270, go above Clarkson Valley and just under Chesterfield, and then you see it makes its way out into St. Charles and goes all the way up to where it will eventually dead end into another highway. So Highway 40 is the first one. Go ahead and you're going to pick your third color now and highlight this highway. It's the first one because it's probably the most well-known. In St. Louis, it's known as Highway 40 or 64. We'll talk briefly about why it was created in just a little bit, but I have to highlight another road before I get to that one, so we're going to hold off on that. Highway 40 on your notes on the back or somewhere on the side. I want you to jot down that Highway 40 in the St. Louis area, its official name is the Daniel Boone Parkway. Yes, it is named after the famous explorer and wilderness guy, Daniel Boone, who has a home just outside of St. Charles in Defiance, Missouri, which maybe you have been to. And by the way, besides that, all Parkway students should know that the word Parkway comes from the term Daniel Boone Parkway. So yes, our school district is named after Highway 40, and that is the parkway in the Daniel Boone Parkway. Why? Because Highway 40 goes right and cuts right through the middle of the Parkway School District. And so we are known as Parkway because of the Highway 40 Daniel Boone Parkway. Our second highway starts here in downtown and goes north and basically traces along the Mississippi River and then starts to move at a more northeast or northwest direction, goes above St. Anne, crosses the Missouri River, and then heads on out toward Columbia. And eventually, as you can see, Highway 40 and Highway 70 come together, and it basically just creates Highway 70. So 40 dead ends into Highway 70. And so Highway 70 is what you would take to go to Columbia. You can take Highway 40, and as you can see, it dead ends into 70, but Highway 70 going west will take you to Columbia. And then the third major highway is right here. It starts downtown and makes its way around Maplewood and just under Kirkwood. It goes right through 270 and starts diving southwest and cuts through and goes under Eureka and then makes its way to Gray Summit and beyond. And that is Highway 44. And so those are the three main highways. Highway 44, if you take it west, would take you to Six Flags. And so if you were to follow it out past the St. Louis area, that is the highway that you take to go to Six Flags. And many of our students have been to Six Flags, and so you probably have been on Highway 44. If you've got another color, I'm going to have you switch to another color. If not, just keep it with the highway color. I'm going to go ahead and switch though. And I'm going to hit a couple more highways that are just a little bit smaller than the big three. And so the one of them that I want to hit starts right here and dead ends into Highway 44 and goes through Gray Summit, by Camp Wyman, through Melrose, and then above Wildwood and just under Ellisville, and then goes under Baldwin and above Winchester, and then crosses Highway 270, and then goes in between Highways 40 and 44, and actually goes all the way downtown. This is Highway 100. So in your notes, go ahead and list Highway 100, and Highway 100 is also known in St. Louis as, you guessed it, Manchester Road. This is actually one of the first major roads in the St. Louis area. It was the road that connected St. Louis to Jefferson City, and this is what you took to get out to Jefferson City from St. Louis before there were any interstate highways in the day. And so Manchester was the major road and thoroughfare through the St. Louis area. As it became more congested and populated over the years, that is why Highway 40 was built to sort of relieve the pressure from Manchester. Highway 40, as you can see, for much of the downtown and the St. Louis area, they almost run side by side. And so it was just Highway 40 was a way for you to take the same direction and same road direction, but not have all the lights to deal with that you have to deal with on Manchester. And so Manchester is still a busy thoroughfare today. It is still used by many St. Louisans here in the county and in the city. You can take Highway 100 Manchester into downtown. It does take you downtown. I'm sure many of my students have never done that before. I suggest you do it just to see where it takes you. But Highway 100, also known as Manchester Road, is one of the oldest roads in the St. Louis area. Then go down here to the south where you see Arnold. And if you take Arnold and you start heading north and go through Murphy and go through Sunset Hills, and then you go right by Valley Park, and then you come up through Winchester and Baldwin, you cross Highway 100, and then you go through Clarkson Valley, and you see that it basically runs into Highway 40 from here. Then from here, if you take it along Chesterfield and you basically continue up this way, we're going right by Creve Coeur Lake right now, and then we eventually dead end into Highway 70. This road right here is known as Highway 141. Highway 141 is also known as Woods Mill Road. Originally, Woods Mill Road basically started right below Highway 40, or actually right above Highway 40, and then just went straight down into the Arnold area. But then recently what they did is they extended it out and made it now connect into Highway 70. So for those of you who have taken 141 North, you know that it goes by the Lou Few soccer area. It does go under the Page Avenue extension. It does eventually go by Riverport Amphitheater, now known as the Verizon Amphitheater, and eventually will dead end into Highway 70. And so 141 is a major thoroughfare as well. So the last bit of knowledge that I'm going to want you to jot down is something that I hope you've noticed, and you will notice here in just a second. What does Highway 70, 40, 44, and 100 all have in common? They all run east-west. Any highway that ends in an even number must run east-west in the United States. So jot down in your notes that all even-numbered highways run east-west. Highway 141, and I will give you another one here that you can also highlight if you so choose, and that is this one right here that runs right along the Mississippi River and goes south and would take you to Kentucky or St. Genevieve or anywhere near the Boot Hill of Missouri. That is Highway 55. So 55 and 141 are odd number highways, which means that odd number highways run north-south. And so this is a characteristic that is utilized all throughout the United States. It just allows you to understand what direction you might be going on just based on the number of the highway. So jot down in your notes that even-numbered highways run north-south, even number highways run east-west, odd number highways run north-south, and that'll help you figure out which way you're going. One last thing, if I were to zoom into the St. Louis downtown area, basically think of yourself near Busch Stadium. Jot down in your notes that downtown streets have a differing number system. So downtown streets, basically right near Busch Stadium and right near the Enterprise Center where the Blues play, any road that runs north-south is known as a numbered street. So 7th Street, 11th Street, 14th Street, all of those are north-south roads in downtown St. Louis. The east-west streets downtown, like Chestnut, Walnut, Olive, are, as you've been able to tell, named after trees. So the tree streets downtown are east-west, and the numbered streets are north-south. And that system of naming roads that way was developed in the city of Philadelphia, and pretty much cities have adopted that. But it's not very much in downtown St. Louis. It's very much just the core area. And then, as some of you may know, in the downtown, there are streets that are named after states and named after all sorts of other things, lots of people as well. So there you go. That is your little tutorial of the highways of St. Louis. Get to know them, get to use them, get out of your little comfort zone and your little bubble in this parkway area, and go ahead and start traveling these highways and get to some of the places that we're going to be discussing throughout this course. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something, and happy travels to you. Have a good one.